Hi, I'm Bay Logan. I'm here at Hong Kong's Marine Police Headquarters, where in 1983 Jackie Chan shot scenes for a film originally entitled Pirate Patrol. It was an important film for Jackie. His previous movie, Dragon Lord, underperformed at the Asian box office. He needed a big Chinese New Year smash hit to establish himself as the undisputed king of Hong Kong action cinema. The film he put together outdid even his expectations. Its title, Project A.
Released in 1984 to a fanfare of critical acclaim and unprecedented commercial success, Project A took the whole of Southeast Asia by storm. By far the most popular motion picture event of the year, this movie would go on to take $30 million of the home box office and establish its distinguished triumvirate of leading players, Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung and Yuen Biao, as the preeminent creative force behind many of Hong Kong cinema's most successful and accomplished projects for many years to come. An explosive fusion of unparalleled martial artistry, death-defying stunts, and infectious physical comedy, Project A has survived evolving cultural changes and technological advances in motion picture science to emerge triumphant from the court of public opinion. Even today, some 18 years after its release, it is still regarded by fans and critics alike as one of the most influential and best-loved action comedies of all time, and an enduring testament to the creative free spirit and innovative genius of leading man, co-writer, action choreographer and director, Jackie Chan.
Did an internet search on Jackie, and he comes up under every sort of genre, every sort of subsection, I should say, whether it's actor, director, producer, stuntman, miscellaneous crew member, writer, everything that's involved in filmmaking Jackie has done or continues to do. His films that he's been making for the last, since the 70s, he's starred in over 40 films and directed a lot of those. Those continue to endure and continue to excite audiences, and the new stuff he's making now continues to surprise people, and he comes up with every film, whether it's a Hollywood film or a Hong Kong film, he comes up with new and innovative stuff.
佢真係好令我佩服啦！佢嘅工作態度、精神，同埋佢嘅毅力，佢唔怕辛苦嘅，佢撞啊，佢打啊，佢好高難度嘅嘢，佢可以做到。
I think it's most important thing is that he's been training so tough when he is in the Chinese opera school, and he is handsome and he's well built. So that is all those things that make him so unique.
Jackie told me, if you put somebody up on a 5-story building and said, okay, you've got to jump down or fall down to the ground, and they'd say, okay, where's the mat? Well, we're going to put some boxes there. Well, if a guy did it and crashed and got hurt and they needed to take two, they'd put somebody else up there. Or if somebody said, I can't do that, it's not safe, they wouldn't make it safe, they'd get someone who would do it. And that's just the way it was. And so Jackie said what he did, he always volunteered for everything. The hardest job that no one else would want to do, he would do.
I think he's become accepted by a wide audience because he's a superstar in the truest sense of the word. And even though Hong Kong and Asian audiences have known this for many years, we've only just begun to realise it because we've been seeing more and more of him, you know, on releases from Hong Kong legends and from releases at the box office, whether it's doing US films or when his stuff crosses over. And I think it's just because he combines brains with balls, with cute looks, with a self-deprecating sort of comedic personality. And I think that audiences just love that sort of stuff. They love a fool guy making it good and, you know, and saving the heroine and, you know, saving the day. And I think that just Jackie personifies everything that a superstar should be.
Although today Jackie is one of the world's biggest stars, things were not always so easy, and the success of Project A would prove to be an important turning point for the man whose early career was a perilous roller coaster ride of success and failure.
Movie historians cite Project A as one of the most important films in Jackie's career. Basically, he'd made a lot of films under the guidance of Lo Wei, who was Bruce Lee's mentor and director, and they just hadn't worked for Jackie. It was about 10 films, and they just didn't do anything for him. People thought that he was box office bad news. He just wasn't popular. They basically miscast him. They didn't use him to the best of his abilities.
So he didn't give me enough time to fighting. Everything quick, low budget, quick, finish, yes. When the stunt fighting scene coming, then he said, Jackie, stunt fighting scene. No, fighting scene. Then Lo Wei with the cigar, then sleeping. When he sleep, I create everything I want. But when he gets up, God damn it, what time is it? You're still fighting. But the audience, they don't like me. At that time, they just don't accept me.
Jackie's career would have floundered if it wasn't for the vision of one man, Un Si-yun. He was the chief executive of seasonal films, and he saw in Jackie something special. He cast him in Snake and the Eagle's Shadow, which was a massive commercial success. And everyone started wanting to see more of him. And then he put him in Drunken Master, which was an even bigger success. And this is where it really took off for Jackie.
That time we always, before shooting or after shooting, we sit together talking about the script and also what we will do tomorrow, what the action we decide, what the something new movement we decide. So that time Jackie, he always join us and lay down on floor and listening. Now we discuss. Suddenly he will jump up and say, "Hey, I have such an idea. We should fight like that," and then lay down again, listen again. So in that time we work very good, as a teamwork. So every day when we shooting, we know what we want, what we do much better. So Jackie, I think he's still working this way now. He want to talk with so many people together. Before was only a director, so he think he's his officer, but never discuss with other people. I think from this movie we change the way to make a movie.
What happened next was a bit of a shame for Un Si-yun, because he had been the guy that had put his neck on the line for Jackie, but he really didn't have the financial backing to elevate Jackie to the heights that he deserved.
Actually, I want Jackie bad, but that times everything has been changed. That time, Golden Harvest struggled with Lo Wei. He want to use Jackie, but Lo Wei has some legal problem with Golden Harvest. Actually, not except Golden Harvest still have many companies. They approaching Lo Wei, want to use him. Of course, some is a mafia company, I can tell. I think that some of this time, even Jackie is hiding. He doesn't want to come out because it's too dangerous. Everybody wants Jackie because it has a good market. So in this situation, I don't have any reason to use him.
Jackie was brought up by Golden Harvest and Raymond Chow. The first film he made for them was The Young Master, and this was the first time that anyone had got a $1 million paycheck for a film in Hong Kong. And Jackie was on the road. He was on the right road, and he was going places. Everyone at Golden Harvest was very excited about the success of The Young Master, so they decided to send Jackie to the States to do a couple of films. The Cannonball Run pulled in the audiences, but because Jackie was only on screen for 6 minutes and it didn't do him any justice at all, he was in the middle of this very stupid, goofy movie, it just failed miserably. Battle Creek Brawl was next, and again, it just wasn't Jackie. It wasn't right for him, it wasn't the right vehicle. He didn't have control over the stunts, he didn't have control over the fight sequences, which is what made Jackie. So his career started going down the pan. He started to become box office poison again.
He was a perfectionist. He would rehearse, and sometimes David Chan told me that they actually did 348 takes of one scene. Took an entire week. But that's the power that Jackie had, because even if they took that long, it still made a fortune. A show that had a 1-month shooting schedule sometimes took 8 months. Jackie was in charge, and you took as many takes as he wanted to. Well, in Cannonball Run, it was a whole lot different. Jackie would do the scene, and he was not satisfied with it. And the director would say, "Okay, cut, let's move on." Jackie said, "No. I want to try it again. I want to do." "Now we got that one. Let's go on to the next one." And Jackie really hated that.
Jackie returned from the US desperate for a hit, so he went back to Young Master and decided to make a sequel. It was originally called Young Master in Love, and then later changed its name to Dragon Lord. It wasn't a success, not because for any fault of the film itself, because now it's a highly respected movie. It's just then it wasn't right for Jackie. It had a lot of sports in it. It wasn't really Jackie in his essence with the comedy and the acrobatic and the prop stuff. And people just didn't like seeing Jackie in that way. And things were getting very, very bad for him. So Jackie went to Leonard Ho and said, "I need you to take a chance on me. I want to make you a hit, but it's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to be very elaborate. It's going to be very ambitious." Leonard's pushed out all the stops, but I bet he's glad he did, because Project A went on to gross, in 2 weeks alone, $14 million, which was unheard of at those times for a Hong Kong film.
Project A was the film that brought Jackie Chan into a whole new era of filmmaking. His earlier films were set in the early part of the 18th century, when there was a conflict between the Qing and the Ming dynasties, whereas Project A was evidently set in Hong Kong and in the early years of the 19th century. Jackie even had Golden Harvest employ a whole team of researchers to make sure the film was historically accurate. Much of their work was actually done here at the Marine Police headquarters in Tsim Sha Tsui.
When we're doing Project A, we spend a lot of time to research the history of Hong Kong, the periods of the pirate, and I think maybe it's a good topic to develop. It's fast tempo, lots of action, and a story that you don't have much dialogues, but is understood by all the people around the world.
Usually, when they have a script, blah 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 blah, blah love story, but after kissing, then the guy comes in, fighting scene, and somehow if we know the writer, they just make fun of me, fighting Jackie design.
Jackie, in any script or any film that he brings to the big screen, also has to have a lot of control, whether it's doing a Hong Kong film where he usually has complete control, or in an American film where he has varying amounts of control. But he's always there. He's always the man. He's always calling the shots.
When Jackie is shooting films, he shoot a lot, much more than he needs. Then the things that we have to cut, maybe. It should be drama, because Jackie is very love his action scene, and for the market, the action scene is always safer than the drama.
Hong Kong Marine Police were established in 1846. As we see in Project A, their main job involved fighting smuggling and piracy off the coasts of Hong Kong. The film's also very accurate in depicting the rivalry between the Marine Police, who had jurisdiction at sea, and the local constabulary, who had jurisdiction on land. You see Jackie Chan at the beginning of the film having a conflict with Yuen Biu, Jackie Chan being a Marine policeman, Yuen Biu being a member of the local police force. Then we have Sammo Hung as a representative of the third element, the criminal element. As is often the case with the films that Jackie Chan and Edward Tang co-scripted, there's an underlying message. By the end of the film, all three parties must come together to fight against a common enemy threatening Hong Kong.
When we finish the office hour, then we start to go to some coffee shop, in some hotel. Sometimes we talk together till quite late. If there's some scenes that you don't get any good idea. But most of the time we finish 12 o'clock. My interest is doing some kind of police story, because actually the Dragon Law is not doing so well in Hong Kong, because the same year there's another film. It's the number one in the box office in Hong Kong. It's the Aces Go Places. So I'm thinking about what the problem of Dragon Law is. Of course, the Dragon Law is very good in the world, all the world around, not in Hong Kong. So I'm thinking what we're going to do, the next one. So I think it's because maybe the image from the Qing Dynasty. So we're going to make some image of Hong Kong. I researched the history of Hong Kong, and I found that there's a period, there's a pirate. So I think, how about the Hong Kong police fighting some pirates? So that is the original idea of the Project A.
To consolidate his vision of a fast-moving, adrenaline-pumping, multi-leveled action adventure with true international appeal, Jackie knew he would have to move away from the familiar locations used in many of his previous movies. For the Project A adventure, Jackie and his team travelled between the backlot at Golden Harvest Studios, the Marine Police Headquarters in Tsim Sha Tsui, rural villages in the New Territories, the former Portuguese colony of Macau, and the clear blue open waters of the South China Sea.
The Marine Police Headquarters was built in 1884. Provides an impressive backdrop for some exterior sequences. For example, there's the opening scene when Jackie arrives to report for duty and parks his bike over yonder. There are also the parade ground scenes. Jackie and his team actually went to train with the Marine Police Corps to actually learn how to march in formation, so that when they actually played Marine Police on screen, it would be more convincing. This attention to detail, combined with the sheer history of this place, gives another level of reality to the film itself. As the film is set in colonial-era Hong Kong, Jackie was actually able to make use of these locations rather than just building sets up at Golden Harvest Studios. And in most of the scenes we see with him at the Marine Police Headquarters, he's a character who is in opposition to his superiors. And it's this character of the plucky police officer who succeeds in the end despite the odds that he would return to again and again, most memorably in the police story films. But he established that persona for the first time in Project A. behind me is the Kowloon Canton Railway clock tower, setting for the standout stunt sequence in Jackie Chan's film Project A. Let's go inside, take a look. And here's part of the clock tower that we don't see in the film itself, because Jackie gets in by climbing up the flagpole and leaping across, and then later falls from the clock face down to the ground below. But I wanted to climb up the flagpole too, but someone's moved it, so I guess I got to take the stairs to get to the top. And here we have some images of the actual clock tower in which we're standing as it's appeared throughout history. It was actually constructed in 1914 as part of this much bigger building, which was the terminus of the Kowloon Canton Railway. That used to surround where we are now, but it was demolished in 1978, leaving just the clock tower behind.
A 計劃差唔多有年半啊，咁就如果講拍咧，佢場場都難嘅啦，因為場場啲動作都好大嘅。咁啊最難拍嗰場咧，我諗係船嗰場啦，因為船嗰場咧嗰啲船因為喺海啊，唔受控制啊，大。同埋嗰啲人嗰啲位啊打嗰啲嘢，同埋啲燈做嗰啲咧比較難啲咯。咁嗰啲難控制啲咯。其餘嗰啲都係即係容易控制。總之係廠嗰啲難極啦，都好容易控制。係海嗰啲就比較難啲咯，就冇乜。如果同即係話拍慣戲嗰啲咧，就唔係叫難㗎啦。
At each stage, Jackie and his team would then work tirelessly to ensure visual and atmospheric continuity between the studio sets and the real-life locations, so complicated multi-location sequences like the bicycle chase could be edited together with seamless precision in post-production.
This is in Macau. We have to, in Macau, we have to make all the sand, see? Yeah. Put in the floor. Wow. That's nothing. We build this wall. Oh. We build this wall. Why? Then we build the door.
Why? Because you know you want to do that stunt?
Yeah. I was special on this one. And when you take it, I don't have a place to put the camera. Oh. Too narrow. So after let the door build, so let the whole thing I can passing by. If they would put the camera here, I have no place to go. So after that's the end of the road. Yeah. Then from here, build a house.
A wall?
Yeah, a wall. Huh?
Clever.
See? Boom.
Now, with his script in place and the budget secured for his locations, Jackie approached veteran composer and longtime friend Michael Lai to write the project's rousing score.
Project A is about the pirates, right? The ships, you know. So we have to research quite a lot of Hollywood film to listen to the mood. What is if the ship go out, you know, with the water? So we make it very grand, the air. You see, so we have to do a lot of research in the arrangement. We have to see the film, and then we think of a theme song first, a melody theme. So we put a lot of different version of arrangement and put it in the film, and then of course Jackie will see should be some music. Let's say it's a minute of fighting, so we write the score and then we record it first. And then we put it in the film, dub it into the film. Exactly the timing. Long time ago, they borrow some music from classical music or whatever. They just put it in. But when we started the CASH, the Composer and Author Association, and then they have to buy the canned music, and then we can use it in the film. But mostly, they write music at the last 20 years. They think it's a very good idea to something like pushing a jukebox. So you can put something like like that kind of music. Is quite funny. You know, always Jackie the film when they fight, they also have a little bit comedian things, you know, coming in. So it good for the mood.
Left, left, right, left, left, left. Left and right turn. Present up.
The story is about 1920 or something like that in Hong Kong at that time. At that time, the police they call themselves 大頭綠衣. That means they wear a big hat and the green uniform. So it's a fun movie. So I would think making the theme is a march thing, you know, like in the police things, but it's a funny mood. So we think of a melody in a minor tune is something like and so this kind of melody, so it fits in into so you can improvise in this melody into a exciting mood, a march mood, a light mood, funny mood, because there's a lot of funny fightings in the film. It's not very, except the last part is very exciting, you know, real fighting. But at the first time, it's only, everything is so fun. So we make the melody a little bit funny. Because at that time, Jackie got a lot of budget in music, you know. So we use all orchestration is a real live band, real strings. So you can, when you listen to the music in the film, you can feel it. And you can, if you know the music, you know everything is acoustic sound, you know. It's not by synthesizer. It's a full orchestration. So the sound come out very thick, you know, very thick. And well, now the movie business is not so good, so we don't have so many budget to do it. So everybody's doing it by himself with the synthesizer. That's all. But at that time, we write all the scores down, you know, and then record it in the studio. So we have to check the time for this scene. How long? Like a set mode, let's say 30 seconds, exactly. So we do the music score for exact recording a 30-second things, or maybe 31-second thing, and then put it into the film, and then on the 31st second, and then we fade out a little bit, you know, more easy to go out, more soft, you know. At that time, it's fun, you know. We're using some Peking traditional Chinese opera. It's mostly the percussion thing, you know. and then together with the dialogue, their dialogue is something like acting in actually they don't speak in Mandarin. It's some kind of a Peking older language in some opera things, you know, but they do it in a dialogue in Cantonese. So it comes out with all the mask, the thing, and then it comes out like a Chinese traditional opera thing, put into a new elements, and then they fight, you know. So we use the old thing, like I think many of the Choi film is also using this kind of percussion thing in his famous movie, something like the clave, and then some you know, little round thing called tong lo in Chinese, and then come out the sound quang quang quang, short, very short sound, you know, quang 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 quang. It's a kind of a Chinese opera thing. So we adapt this into that scene. So we will arrange it into all different, because the same melody, you can put in different chords. The chords, you can improvise into the harmony things, you know. So you can put a minor chords, minor harmony, or major melody. Major chords is more for a warm thing, very warm. A minor chords is more sad thing. So you have to adapt all the different chords into the melody, and then you write it out, and then record it. It's very suitable. Sometimes you can be, if you want to present the actor is very lonely, so you can use just a very simple instrument, or maybe one violin, or in Chinese instrument you use one yiwu. So it gives you a lonely mood. So if you just warm, so you mostly we use string for warm things. We listen to a lot of Hollywood big composer, and then we can feel the mood like a ship, the big oceans, and then we would give them a very something like very romantic beginning, and then come out things come out. It's very hard to explain. You have to see the movie.
Project A has a special place in the hearts of Hong Kong film buffs because it brings together three of the greatest names in the industry: Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, and Yuen Biao. The three of them actually studied together at the Peking Opera School of Sifu Yu Jim Yun, and each gone on to their own level of success in the local film industry. But Project A was the first movie to see them come together with anything like equal billing. Jackie's character was defined by his earlier film successes, and he was this happy-go-lucky, easygoing leading man. Sammo Hung is kind of the lovable rogue. Interestingly, in some international prints of the film, his opening scene where he plays mahjong is cut. The reason for this was it was felt that foreign audiences were not familiar enough with the game of mahjong. Yuen Biao is kind of cast against type because at that time Golden Harvest were kind of launching him as a kind of young underdog kung fu hero in the same mold as Jackie Chan. But in Project A, he's cast as the kind of tough martinet police officer. The success and the chemistry of these three men led to them working together again on Wheels on Meals, Dragons Forever, and many other films as well. And of course, even today, in 2002, everybody's still waiting for the film that will reunite Jackie Chan, Sammo, and Yuen Biao.
Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung and Yuen Biao have made an enormous contribution to Hong Kong cinema, mainly because they're a terrific trio. They really work well together, they complement each other perfectly, but also they're very, very successful in their own rights. Sammo Hung has made over 113 films, Yuen Biao's made about 87, and again, these are just as actors, and they do everything else on films as well. You know, they sort of really copy Jackie in that. They're very adaptable, and they have lots of uses. And I think it's a testament to their endurance as well and to their belief, because they came from the same roots, that they all want to make it and they all want to do good for cinema and they all want to do it properly. And I think that that's why they're so successful and so popular.
元彪咧，佢哋真係山師兄弟嚟嘅。咁如果係我哋喺佢哋師兄弟嚟講，我哋係外人嚟㗎啦。咁佢哋三個有三個嘅性格啦，有三個自己嘅唔同嘅 style 啲嘢啦，咁啊變咗係三個都有好突出嘅嘢啦。咁啊，梗係冇 Jackie 咁突出啦，Jackie 依家變咗巨星啊。咁啊，如果係講功夫嚟講咧，元彪咧嗰啲新手啊，都好過 Jackie 嘅，但係咧就係 Jackie 咧就多花式啦，同埋好多危險動作嗰啲就自己去做啦。
呢個當然啦，呢個大家默契啊嘛，同埋起碼三個人行埋一齊，我哋行埋一齊去傾啊，去講啊，冇隔膜，已經係一個好，即係大家唔使去特別去溝通，就係大家你又唔使記我，我又唔使記你。譬如俾三個新嘅演員，即係唔係新嘅演員，三個唔係好熟嘅演員行埋一齊去拍一樣嘢，大家都好似做得即係冇咁放啊。但係我哋三個行埋出去。大家你又知道，我又知你做得呢樣，我又知你做得呢樣，你又知道我做得呢樣，總之講出嚟，大家就係好容易咁樣去，由細到大係，所以就係呢啲就係大家跟嘅師傅啊，所以由細到大大家傾講啊，即係大家嘅習慣性啊，所以就係好易。大家行埋一齊咧，我哋三個行埋一齊咧就，即係我哋會有啲暗示式嘅，即係由細到大積翻嚟嘅，係唔知道你嗌我解釋，我係解釋唔到出嚟嘅，即係大家好似你望到我。我知道你好似一陣間我哋會點樣啊！即係有個特別嘅，即係個態度，即係譬如你爹哋媽咪見到你有啲小習慣、細動作，佢知道你做乜嘢，係嘛？即係嘛？佢知道你做乜嘢㗎啦！即係你嘅習慣，你不嬲你想講呢樣嘢之前，你又要喐一喐咁樣，即係我哋可能就係由細到好多呢啲咁嘅小動作，大家一齊。所以大家行埋一齊咧就好容易。譬如我哋講兩句即係咧嗰個咧，我哋細個點樣做嗰個咧？呢啲係我哋先知啊嘛，冇人知㗎，係嘛？就唔使話一個導演行出嚟話我教你咁樣做，教你咁。我哋三個行埋一齊出嚟，比較快啲啦。
I remember just that Jackie Chan asked me to do it. Hey, no, they shoot a long time. You know, they got a long time. They got to hurry to finish. You know, and I don't know what problem. I'm just know Jackie. Hi, Samuel, coming, do it for me. I'm saying okay, I'm do for him.
You can ask Jackie to do anything, whether it's jump off a horse or jump onto a building. He's the smiley hero, the all-rounder, the unstoppable fall guy who always gets up, always brushes himself down and carries on. He's the guy that will do things other people wouldn't even dream of doing.
You know, the one thing that Jackie demands is timing, which is something that he has, you know, second to none. So to be able to do fights with Jackie, it's all about timing. You know, it's not about being a good kicker, good puncher. He won't use you unless you have the timing that will work for him and with his type of choreography. And so you put all those things together, you put his incredible physical condition, his acrobatics, you know, the way he moves, you know, with his martial arts and the traditional martial arts all mixed in, it just makes up one explosive package.
Sammo Hung, the guy is very, very adaptable with any sort of prop, any sort of weapon. Very good with swords, very good with anything, whether it's a tennis racket or it's a tripod. He will make that into a weapon and he will use it beautifully. Again, he's really the unsung hero of Jackie's films because he's done a lot behind the scenes for Jackie. He's had a lot more filmmaking experience than Jackie in the very beginning. And he helped Jackie out in the early part of his career and continues to do so. When I interviewed Sammo Hung once, he actually said to me that he wouldn't work as a choreographer on anybody else's films, only Jackie's. And I think that this shows how much respect they have for each other. But Sammo's really been the sort of driving force of Jackie. And Jackie would always say this, but it's yet the press often don't pick up on this.
Living with Sammo was unique in itself. I'll just say that. He is a very warm and beautiful person. He has a genuine heart, you know, and he truly does to have let a person, not Chinese person, an African-American person, come and live in his home with his family and you know, be a member of the family.
家班合作咧係即係好似家庭式咁樣嘅。佢雖然係我老細，但係我都覺得佢係師傅嗰種，因為佢好多嘢都以身作則。好似話打一拳，佢話唔夠力㗎，唔夠力咁，我打到佢出血，佢話啊啱啦。所以我覺得佢如果佢打到我出血咧，我覺得好應該嘅，因為點解咧？佢都係咁樣示範俾我哋睇嘅，所以佢點做我哋就點做啦，即係好尊重嘅一種老師，好好嘅。
I definitely was you know, really honored to be in the presence of Sammo, you know, and while we were shooting this, he was also going back to the States and shooting martial law with Arsenio and that whole, all the success that he had with that TV show. And yeah, it was really great, but what was most impressive to me was that these guys are such nice people, and they're really in a long tradition of Hong Kong cinema that I'm very honored to be a part of now, you know, and I feel like they really took me under their wing and they taught me a lot of tricks of the trade, which I'm really grateful for.
To anyone who's seen Sammo, you'd think, well, this guy couldn't possibly move to save his life. And one of the first things he did, he wanted me to swing a chair at his feet. And he said, I'm going to do, you know, a half somersault flip off the floor, land on my feet, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm kind of like, And he did this maybe a dozen times, and it just blew me away.
Yuen Bu, not a lot of people know this, but he acts as a double on a lot of films just because he's so talented and he can do a lot of things that other people can't do. He's a natural athlete. When he started at the Peking Opera School, he amazed people with his abilities. Jackie sort of took him under his wing, and then every day Yuen Bu would just come out with something else that, you know, just defied his training, really. Bu is the sleek, athletic one of the bunch. He's known for his kicking, he's known for his acrobatic stuff. He can basically take one little fighting move and just add about 3 or 4 parts to it and make it look just easy as pie. So one minute he might be running up a wall and then he'll end with a back flip and then finish it off with a spinning back hook kick. And he just makes it look so easy, it just looks like child's play. And that is what Bu is known for.
아주 처음부터 홍금보, 성룡, 원표 세 사람은 제가 아주 그 영화를 시작했을 때부터 좋아하는 사람이기 때문에 처음 원표를 만났을 때 어떤 좀 설레임과 긴장이 좀 돌더라고요. 그 사람과 그 액션을 하면서도 이렇게 보니까 그 정도 실력이었으니까 그만큼 인기를 얻었지 않았나 생각을 해요. 아주 그 호흡을 잘 맞추고 힘이 대단히 많이 들어가는 그런 배우라고 생각하고 연기도 아주 잘하고요.
即係可以咁講，香港做 stunt 嚟講，我講我做過嘅嘢冇人做得到，人哋就冇人做得到。人哋話做得到，我嘗試我去做你嗰樣嘢，我夠膽咁講。 即係當然唔係而家咁啦，即係講我最 fit 嘅時候啦，係嘛
？He acts as a choreographer on a lot of Jackie's stuff. He acted as choreographer on First Mission, also known as Heart of the Dragon. And he also did, more recently, he acted, again, very behind the scenes, doesn't really make a fuss about it. He was chief stunt coordinator on Shanghai Noon. So he continues to work with Jackie today.
都喺度兩個人同一成龍兩個人坐一拍就兩個人坐喺度，就喺度諗啊，即係諗可能一日兩個人諗到一兩招嘅啫，即係可能即係一兩招係比較好睇啲嘅，先至拍得到。可能一日就諗唔到，通通都係撥嚟撥去，即係有時拍動作片係個腦好實，你即係你第二日唔夠精神，你就係好難去運用到思考到你嗰啲設計動作出嚟，除非你係每一晚你係做好晒功課。即係聽人但係拍動作片你唔可能話好似書本上面嘅嘢，我一招式用字嚟去寫，你話畫個公仔又係比較上係難搞，咁啊所有都係靠記咯。
The chemistry I believe that exists between Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung and Yuen Biao comes from the fact that they come from not very illustrious beginnings. They went to the very tough Peking Opera School where they were just trained for hours and hours on end. So they have that bond already, and as we all know that childhood bonds are very, very difficult to break. They all really complement each other. They look at each other's strengths and weaknesses and they put those on screen and they use those perfectly within scripts and within stories. And I think this is what makes them so successful. It's the sort of chemistry that you can't create. It's the sort of chemistry that you can't buy. It exists because they all want the same things. They all know each other inside out and they've all remained very, very firm friends.
As a dramatic counterpoint to the heroic antics of Sammo, Biao and himself, Jackie knew he would need to enlist the services of actors renowned for their physical abilities and on-screen menace. For Project A, he hired two of the best in the business, Dick Wei and Lei Hoi San.
Lei Hoi San, he's very dark, very stoic. Always has this sort of balding haircut with a long beard. Audiences absolutely love him.
雖然係壞人好乞人憎，係唯一最唔好，俾啲觀眾感覺呢個正衰人。好壞嘅，我亦都見過好多人同我講過，不過我呢啲唔會介意。點解咧？即係演壞人咧，都幾蝦人嘅，喜怒哀樂乜都有齊，同埋好多方面嘅嘢。但唯一最唔好咧，演壞人就俾觀眾一種感覺，好話唔好聽，你唔係開工啊、行街啊咁成咧，人哋會有種對你有一種歧見或者恐懼。我都曾經聽人講過，佢話：喂，呢個正衰人嚟㗎，唔好行埋嗰度，好鬼惡死嘅。呢啲咪就喺戲裏邊做出嚟。實在喺我聽嚟講咧，我好高興，證明我自己，咦，原來我做壞人都似嘅喎。我係唔係壞人咧？但我當然唔係壞人啦。
當嗰部戲嘅呢個羅三炮呢個角色要揾到我，呢個洪導演好希望我做呢個角色嘅時候，我梗係好開心啦，因為呢個係前所未有呢個反派角色可以一個打三個主角嘅。呢個事後我先知道，事後 Jackie 先同我講話，佢哋三個主角未俾一個人打過咁樣，所以我聽到我好開心啦，好興奮，所以我就搏晒攞命去做好佢。
In Project A, Dick Wei plays the Pirate King. He's a tattooed baddie. He's got long hair, long moustache, looks very good. He's a very hard fighter, very hard puncher, can take a lot of knocks, take a lot of falls. He's been in loads of stuff with Jackie and Sammo. They use him again and again and again.
一諗起反派嗰個壞蛋，嗰個大反派就係Dick Wei啦。 不過我就好堅持我自己嘅要求，就係雖然係做反派，我就好做一個好有個性嘅、好有性格嘅一個反派，唔做嗰啲強姦啊、嗰啲心急片我就唔好做噶啦。
One of the factors which makes a Jackie Chan movie stand out from the competition is the delirious mix of action, comedy and death-defying stunts. Project A is no exception. In fact, in many respects, it is the movie from which Jackie originated his now world-famous patented formula for success.
And here we are in the real-life setting for where the fight between Jackie Chan and Lei Hoi San takes place at the top of the clock tower in Project A. And as you can see, the real version is much brighter and nicer than the one we see in the film. And in fact, when you look at that film, because of the need to recreate the dimensions of the clock tower on a backstage at Golden Harvest, the set was very dark, and therefore they had to really push the film to capture the action that was shot thereon. One thing that's never explained in the film is quite why Lei Hoi San's character is there in the clock tower to begin with. But we'll skip that because it's a Jackie Chan film. We're all having such a fun time.
我記得當年同佢呢個鐘樓大廈咧，就係一堂喺廠裏邊搭出嚟嘅。我記得喺嗰個場地嗰個嘉禾一條街道裏邊搭出嚟嘅，搭到咧好似20-30年代嘅大鐘樓咁嘅。佢裏邊咧鐘樓裏邊咧係有一個即係你一個鐘裏邊有啲機器啊，有啲成嘅，佢喺裏邊亦都好大範圍嘅。講我哋為咗捉佢咧，喺裏邊咧打到好七彩㗎啦。點解咧？佢鐘樓裏密封嘅，冇槍冇乜槍，槍裏邊係唯一嘅咧，就係嗰個鐘嗰支針啊時針嗰度咧，就係可以望到出邊，都望唔到㗎。佢有塊嗰啲透明嘅嘢啊！你都要打爛佢，將飛出去。佢事關俾我哋成班人嚟追殺佢，咁咧走都冇得走。佢就唯一諗緊由嗰個窗位飛出去，諗住飛出去走咧。
One thing I'd like to point out, the clock tower sequence is remembered by fans as one of the most dangerous stunts Jackie's ever accomplished. But the actual fall from the clock face, dangerous though that is probably less risky than the jump from the top of the flagpole into the top of the clock tower. That sequence, had he missed or had anything gone wrong, would probably have been more dangerous than the fall from the clock face. And as Jackie himself has said, it's often the incidental stunts leading up to the big payoff gag that are more dangerous. For many fans, the standout stunt sequence in Project A is the one that sees Jackie hanging from the face of a clock tower, like the one above me. In fact, Jackie himself had a lot of concern about performing the stunt. had told his stuntmen, let me hang on there until I can't hang anymore, and then I'll just fall naturally. And that's how he actually managed to fall from the clock tower. He got the courage to fall for the first time by doing that method. Having fallen from the face of the clock tower, his fall was meant to be broken by these canopies attached to the wall below him. On the first rehearsal, they found that his weight alone would not push him through the canopy, so he would bounce off and fall to the ground below. Instead, they cut a slash in the middle of each canopy and did it up with very narrow thread, very thin thread. This meant that when Jackie's weight hit the center of each canopy, it would break his fall slightly, and so that he'd be able to hit the ground at like a survivable speed. But still, it's a long way down.
You see me hanging there, you know how long? 7 days. To do that shot. Rolling. No. That's not ready. So 7 days later, suddenly, 洪金宝calling back. You still hanging there? You know, come on, let's do it. Come on, camera ready. Now the sun's good, everything perfect. Do it. Then I tell the stunt guy, you know what? Let me hang in there. Don't let me eat until I really cannot hand anymore. I fall myself. Then, because I cannot hand anymore, then go.
嗰場戲佢做得幾好咯，佢真係自己嚟咯。咁落嚟嗰陣時，我哋都好驚㗎啦。咁啊之前咧，因為咧 Jackie 係 boss， 咁啊好多動作咧，我哋係唔俾佢做嘅，係我哋 stunt 係唔俾佢做，因為點解佢係 boss， 佢受咗傷咧，冇飯開啦，大家都咁啊話唔好啦，咁啊你如果要拍咧，我哋揾個 stuntman 翻嚟做一次俾你睇。如果嗰個做咗 OK 冇事而好好睇嘅咧，你再做啦咁，即係佢好聽我哋講，話 OK 咁，我哋之前拍咁就拍咗個 stunt， 嗰個 stunt 咧就都傷咗㗎啦。咁就係唔係好大傷，咁啊好細傷，但係咧佢都驚。咁啊後尾到佢做嗰陣時，我哋再做啲手腳啦，咁變咗落嚟咪好靚，就一啲事都冇，因為好高啊，60尺啊。
The bicycle sequence in Project A is involving Jackie trying to get away from some baddies. They're on bicycles, so he picks up a bike as well and tries to get away on that. He's going down very narrow alleys. He's using everything again at his disposal to beat them. He uses a washing line. He uses shutters from a window. He uses a ladder. And again, he just does the most amazing things with a bicycle that a circus performer would be envious of.
And that time I remember when we decided the scene, and I want to do some. I believe at that time the bicycle just comes out. So this one I want to do. And that time I remember very popular the BMX. Everybody have a BMX. Then I said, I should do a movie with the bike, but I was doing a period film. Yeah. How can I use the BMX? Yeah. Then okay, we use the old traditional bicycle. Then what I'm gonna do? Yeah. No, not doing jump over. No. Very difficult. Yeah. Then I think, then suddenly when I got on location scout, good. That's the thing. When as soon as I see on the location, all my picture in my mind already. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm ready to decide when I'm going to film it. When I location scout, I already have an idea. Okay, I want to do the scene in this area. This is supposedly in the new territory, but I probably now they tear it down. Yeah. It's yeah. Then I go back to shoot the first scene. I'm still shooting one day. One of my stunt guy, Jackie, you know what? Steven Spielberg, I ready to do the bicycle scene. God! And that time I said, what? You know what? Immediately I stopped filming. We wrap. All my stunt guy, everybody went to the theater to see E.T. Yes, because I have the idea they already shoot it. But I said, if they similar like me, I'm not going to shoot. I changed the style. So that's why we go to the theater, wait. And that time I'm not concentrating on anything. I just concentrate on the ET, the end of the shooting. Yeah. Suppose you ask me ET, I just know the boom. A lot of people like it. And that time I don't have the feeling to want to watch ET. I just, when's the bicycle scene? When's the bicycle scene? Then the bicycle scene goes on. No, there's nothing. It gives me, oh, please don't. Yeah, not the same, because I've been prepared for a long time. Then until the movie at the end comes, bicycle, go to the mountain, go down the mountain, chasing on the street, suddenly go to the sky. Then, I'm very happy. Oh, 不同的, not the same. Go, we go back to the set, we film again. I have a full confidence. They said because they really into the audience mind. But did you care? I said, I don't care. I know I'm not exactly the same. On the location, 300 people sit there watching me. Then I just, okay, camera put there. Then 300 people move the camera. Give me the bicycle. And I need one door. 門啊. We don't have. Make me one now.
咁啊，單車嗰場幾好睇咯，我啲 stunt 做得好啦。咁我哋叫佢做，不過都好安全，冇人受傷。即係我哋依家睇覺得都哇咁樣搭。但係嗰陣時咧，即係嗰陣時啲 stunt 咧，即係本身自己功夫好啦，咁啊做嗰啲動作可以自己射到嗰啲力啊，咁變咗係好好睇同埋唔受傷啊。
One thing I'm very happy is after this movie you can check what ET how long 20 years 15 12 yeah something like that. Then after when I see Steven Spielberg's movie, it's called Indiana Jones Part 3. They're doing motorcycle. I doing the bicycle, but the idea is same. When I look at wow, because Spielberg is my idol.
Actually, we work together, the stunting, wherever Jackie Chan stunting and me stunting, wherever Yuen Woo-ping stunting, we work together. If we work together, they will take care of each other. You know why? Because they know, if I don't do it, you do it. If you don't do it, I'm doing it. It's the same. Everybody is the same. If you do it, they will take care of you. Don't get hurt because they will take care of each other. Actually, we work is a very, very, very good. It's not like you cannot do it. I do. Don't do it. No. They are very careful each other because actually they grew up together. It's the same, but suddenly they have two groups. One is a Jackie Chan group. One is Sammo Hung group.
If it is a Jackie's film, Sammo Hung listen to Jackie most of the time. Of course, sometimes he may suggest something. How about that? But really, it depends on whose film it is. If it is Sammo Hung's film, Jackie just sitting there all the time and ask Sammo, what? Tell me what to do.
This is the Marine Police fitness room. The calligraphy on the wall behind me reads Gin Hong, Wu Lek, health and energy. There was a scene actually shot in a room much like this one for Project A, with Jackie Chan and Yuen Bu engaging in a martial arts training sequence, but it was cut from the finished film. The martial arts that does exist in Project A marks a big step forward for Jackie as a filmmaker. Previously, he'd been making kung fu movies, where the real reason for the film to exist was to show off duels between similarly skilled martial arts masters. For Project A, martial arts took a step back to become part of an overall tapestry, including character, comedy, the kind of breakneck stunt sequences that would make Jackie famous internationally, and indeed, high-impact martial arts fights. The fights are short and to the point, and some fans criticise the fact that the ending of the film didn't have the expected showdown between Jackie and one specific opponent. Perhaps in response to that, subsequent films did feature the final real duel that fans seem to enjoy seeing Jackie engage in.
Sammo Hung is in that scene too, so he thinks that someone can share his role in the traditional ending fight. Maybe Sammo Hung's comedy will make ending of a traditional fighting scene different.
I got 3 movies like that, then Jackie Chan, he don't like it, Yeah, he say, hey, you always, the moment you pass out, then everything let me fight. This is not fair. When we finish, you wake up. I said, come on, we see. Actually, because we have a lot of people, Yuen Biao and me and Jackie Chan. If you, I want the result is just a little bit funny, different tone, and then Yuen Biao is very cute, right? And then Jackie Chan is a very good action and fight. We separate 3 different kind of action. If I'm continue fight, I think it's the same, there will be looks same. So no the kind of difference. So I made it as a little more drama and funny thing, something like that. And Yuen Biao more action, kill, the movement, and Jackie Chan's a very good action. They will separate 3 different kinds.
The elements that make the climatic action sequence in Project A so special are really because there's a good build-up. You have Jackie impersonating this gunrunner called Chow, who goes along to sort of meet the pirates, and he tries to trick the Pirate King into releasing the hostages. And this just isn't going to happen, so they have to come up with another plan. And there's him, Sammo and Bu all working together to great effect. You've got explosions, you've got fantastic swordplay, where really all of them come into their own. And again, you've got people like Sammo using chairs and everything available to him as weapons. And really, it culminates in one of the most impressive fight sequences, seeing as that there's so many people involved, and yet it just looks so beautiful. It almost looks like a dance.
因為嗰個時候呢就後生啦，同埋好認真，好想搏，好辛苦嘅，所有嘅冇辦法大劈，所以嗰個撞傷啊、瘀傷會好多嘅地方。我拳腳方面呢就比較專長啦，兵器就比較弱啲。嗰場係要我打一個關刀嚟嘅，長刀嚟嘅。就經過導演嘅設計啦，就我 就好輕鬆咁樣應付到嗰場戲啦。拍戲嘅時候就梗係用兵器會危險啲，同埋技巧方面會花式會多啲。拳腳嘅話，我諗都大同小異啦。兵器對拳腳咧，拳腳對我嚟講梗係比較輕鬆啦。兵器因為我細個時候未學過兵器，就自己當呢個魔術指導教咗我哋點樣打嘅時候，我哋自己去就冇人嘅地方啦，自己偷練，盡量學到最熟嘅時候，再用出嚟咁樣。同Jackie Chan打未轉頭嘅時候，佢三個空已經喺後面飛過嚟，所以心裏冇準備，所以嗰個受傷係好重。搏挫傷咗，拉傷咗肌肉。事後拍咗嗰部係完成咗之後，即係洪金寶啊、元彪啊，佢哋個人私底下同我講話，佢哋未試過話三個男主角俾一個反派打嘅，冇呢種事發生嘅咁樣。我聽到咁樣，呢件事對我嚟講，我就覺得好興奮啦。
嗰陣時拍完 A 計劃，咁啊香港都幾好啊，咁啊變咗去日本上映。日本上映咧，俾日本嗰個皇帝日皇睇到，哇好啊好啊好啊，想睇第二集。咁人哋冇噶嘛，咁人哋因為我哋香港拍戲係拍完一集就一集噶嘛。咁啊嗰個日皇話好睇喎，咁啊要 Jackie 拍第二集。咁人哋嗰個日皇話開到聲，咁你公司冇辦法，咁啊焗住話開第二集咯。
快啲幫手睇下錄音好事。
係好喺半年之內要趕個期，趕咗呢部戲俾日皇睇，要睇 Part 2，咁啊嗰陣時就咪製咗一個就叫 Part 2啦。咁啊即係唔係話第一集分開兩部嘅，係第一集還第一集，第二集係第二集嘅戲嚟嘅，係第二次拍嘅，即係唔同第一集嗰啲嘅，只不過係話要 Part 2嘛，咁你 Part 2梗係要賴埋第一集嗰啲影子先至有第二集咯，就咁嘅戲咯。
係嗰個時候嗰個年代嚟講啦，係動作方面嘅打法同埋戲嘅要求，好驚險嘅場面都係前所未有，所以到而家都好受歡迎嘅。
呢部戲有今時今日成20年都咁受歡迎咧，呢啲都係阿 Jackie 一個人嘅功勞，同埋當然係啦，有幕後啊、幕前都有啲幫助，但係主要問題都係 Jackie 個名啊，同埋佢嘅拼搏精神，就一般好多演員都唔會學佢咁噶啦。呢個去到有成20年嗰個受歡迎程度咧，呢啲佢都係佔第一位嘅，主要都係由佢。
Project A is a major contribution to the world of action cinema. Even up against more sophisticated films that have gone since, it just stands alone. It was made in 1983 with no special effects, with no blue screens, with no cutaways, and yet everything rings true in it. Everything is exciting in it. People really want to see it because they've heard so much about it. Whether it's the bicycle sequence, whether it's Jackie running up that wall and just defying gravity, whether it's the clock tower sequence, whether it's the baddies that come in and fight them to the death, whether it's Sammo Hung and Yun Bu and Jackie all working together, all these elements make it an extremely special film and a film that's going to be just loved by generations after generations.
This tower used to be the centre of timekeeping in Hong Kong. Every day at 1 o'clock, they drop a 6-foot ball from the top down to the ground. You could set your watch by it. In much the same way, the world of action cinema has been setting its clock by Jackie Chan for what seems like forever. Project A catches him at the height of his powers. So if you're watching the film for the 20th time, as I am, or for the first time, I know you're going to enjoy a genuine classic of Hong Kong action cinema, brought to you by Hong Kong legends, Project A.